Good morning everybody. I've just looked outside the window. It's just around sunrise and I see there's mist, so this is a perfect opportunity to get outside real quick and do some photography in the mist. Okay, well, we've found the spot in the forest that I was looking for, and it's a row of trees lining the path. Trouble is though, these trees are really tall. I think they're pretty old. The mist seems to be hanging around still, although the rain is coming down. So I've got my setup here. Got the 70D on the tripod and my Sigma 17 to 50 f2.8 image stabilized lens, and I'll just run you through the setup. I've got the aperture at 5.6 and I want to keep that there. I've got that ISO on 100 and you can see that it's probably from the screen that it's really dark, which is not what I want. So to fix that, I'll just lower the shutter speed, and it's getting a bit brighter. Lower the shutter speed a bit more. Yeah, so that's what I want. That's the right exposure for it, and that's a 30th of a second at f5.6. So I'll just put it on 2-second timer and take the shot. Actually, I've seen another composition that I didn't notice in my rush to get here and photograph the trees. And you see these I think they're beech trees behind me, and they make a really nice composition with their bright golden brown leaves with the grey and black background. So I've just moved the camera back about 3 meters and I might make just a shot of that as well. Right, so as you can see, I've got the focus on this nearest tree, and I've got these trees leading up to the centre of the composition, which makes for a nice composition. And I've got it set at 1/40th of a second at f5.6. 2-second timer. I'm not too happy about this tree coming in from the side though, so I might just come back this way a little bit. Just do that, and maybe crop in a little bit to cut that tree on the left out. And that's looking pretty good, so here goes. 2-second timer and the shot. So I've put my little video camera on the tripod, and now I'm just going to handhold some shots. I'm still going to set my camera at, well, not f5.6 but f5, and I've put the ISO up to 500 just so I can get a bit more shutter speed. It's going to be a little bit noisier, but I'd rather a slight amount of noise rather than camera shake and blur caused by me wobbling around. So here goes. Well, I don't know if it worked out or not. I changed my shutter speeds from 1/80th of a second in manual with an aperture of f5 and an ISO of 500, and that gave me slightly underexposed photos. So I'm going to have to look in Lightroom to see if I can raise the exposure on that. And if I do that, there's not too much noise or speckling in the shadows that I've raised. I then went to a 60th of a second and a 40th of a second, so we'll see in Lightroom if the 40th of a second produced any camera shake. But I'm pretty happy with those photos. Even the underexposed ones kind of give a gloomy, mystic feel, which are good for book covers. And the ones that are 40th of a second hopefully will be well exposed enough and stable enough to be accepted by the stock agencies. Anyway, let's move on to another location and see what the mist is doing with a lake. Well, I was just playing around a little bit there with some slow shutter speeds and the trees behind me on this side of the lake with the birds in the foreground, and I was just trying to get some really bright shots with slight indication that there's trees in the distance, and also some really low shutter speed ones, trying to get some detail of the trees and some smoothness on the water. I don't know if it worked or not, we'll see later. But the mist is pretty thick here still. I'm just thinking when it lifts a bit, maybe it'll show some interesting detail of the trees. So we'll wait a little bit longer and see what happens with the environment. Well, while I was getting some low-down shots of video as some B-roll for this film, a dog thought he would grab the microphone on my little video camera here. So I'm just doing a video test actually to see if his tooth hasn't destroyed it. But anyway, the dangers of videoing in your local park. Oh, I'm all over the place this morning. It's been a while since I've been out vlogging and I can really tell I'm rusty. I'm just not used to my cameras and it's all a bit rushed and a bit stressful, but I've found a really great composition here. I'll just show you. I've set up my camera before a branch, and because it's been raining, there's been some raindrops forming on the branch. And I just really like the composition. So if you look at the screen of my camera, some kids scaring the ducks away, you can capture those raindrops on the branch. Okay, back to the subject. I've just touched the branch so it's wobbling a bit. Anyway, I'm going to take a number of compositions of these raindrops before they get knocked off by me accidentally or the wind. Now, I'm just going to get away from the hordes of humans that have just arrived and go back home and have a look at these photos, see how they turned out. I hope that was a bit of fun for you guys. I enjoyed it. I was a little bit muddled and disorganized, but despite that I think the journey into the forest was successful. And with saying that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Look after yourselves and see you next week. Bye!